one of their locals subscribers, and I know they did the interview. I haven't listened to it yet because I actually really want to pay attention to it. And I don't know if you've noticed, brother, but I haven't had a day off since October 1st.
I have indeed noticed. Sean Stryker says, "Howdy ho."
It's not even Halloween yet. You're not allowed to make Christmas shit.
Good morning.
Yes.
Right.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all, we swear we're not trying to make this the Georgia politics show.
We're really not.
But the Kool-Aid man just, golly, you know, like when manna comes from heaven, you just say, thank you, God.
Yeah, when the Kool-Aid man says close the gap with eugenics, we have to talk about that.
Okay. To be fair, that's not exactly what she said, but what she said was close enough to it where it's legit to make fun of her for it. So, you know what? You know what we should do?
We should just see what she said.
We should just watch the clip.
I just asked you. You're running for governor of Georgia.
Because it's worked out so good for you before.
Look,
I would assume, maybe incorrectly, but while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
Well, she certainly can't do a moratorium or a pause on gas taxes in the state to help deal with Joe Biden's outrageous rising costs of energy because, oh, wait, Kemp already did that.
well,
But let's be clear.
Dude, no, you had an easy one right there. She could just let everybody else fix their plate first.
Ouch. Damn.
Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic.
It's not a reductive issue, so let me reduce it down to a. No, dude, it gets. Look, just let it go.
It gets worse. But you were laughing pretty hard. I want everybody to be able to hear what she said.
You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations. We don't have the luxury of reducing it or separating them out, but we also have to talk about what a governor can do. A governor can address housing prices. A governor can address the cost of education. A governor can put money into the pockets of everyday hardworking Georgians instead of giving tax cuts to the wealthy. That's what I talk about on the trail, and that's what's resonating. But let's not pretend that women, half the population, especially those of childbearing age, they understand that having a child is absolutely an economic issue. It is only politicians who see it as simply another cultural conversation. It is a real biological and economic imperative conversation that women need to have.
May I say, As someone whose child support obligation includes a comma in its monthly figures, I promise, for those of us, for persons born with a penis, I think is the language the left would have us use. It's an economic reality for me as well. And wait a minute. So if you're single and don't have kids, your gas has not gotten more expensive. Your rent has not gotten more expensive. Your food has not gotten more expensive. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Stacey Abrams.
Oh.
A modest proposal. The solution to inflation is eat the young.
I mean, that's what I talk about on the campaign trail. Yeah, honey, that's why Brian Kemp is kicking your ass.
Yep, she is going to be Georgia's next governor by publishing a cookbook for fried baby wings.
Like, oh my God. Oh, all the eugenics jokes, okay? All the Soylent Green jokes, okay? They're all out there. They're right there. Right there. Like, seriously, in the Stephen King universe, one of the things that makes vampires so horrific is they prefer babies because they're tender. They're like veal.
Yeah.
For vampires.
Yeah. That's a recurring theme in vampire stories that in the zombie Fallout series, when the vampires show up, Eliza talks about how she prefers children because they experience more fear, and that improves the flavor of the meat. It has a tanginess to it when she eats them. Oh Jesus! I don't understand. I just don't understand.
I think it's because I have to navigate around this massive cluster of USB cables here. George Kelichek joined us this morning.
Indeed.
So good morning from the Eye of the Taxpayer Association. Yeah, so this shows you, okay, why Stacey Abrams is going to lose, because she is going around the state talking about these issues, you know, telling women, telling her base, okay, that remember that time you heard your baby's heartbeat? That wasn't really
right. Yeah,
that wasn't really a heartbeat.
Remember that? Yeah, exactly. This is the same woman that floated the proposition that the heartbeat sound that's made by ultrasound machines
isn't really a heartbeat.
Is a fake thing that was put in that machine by the evil white men. She said this explicitly, that it was put there by evil white men to con you into believing that the baby is alive so that they can control your body. Okay.
It was an electronic representation of an acoustic pattern. Like, she even called it a sound wave just without calling it a sound wave.
And I mean, we're talking about the woman who, as I have repeated on this show many, many times, filed a lawsuit
that she claims she won. You not.
In which she argued that voter ID, specifically voter registration, and more specifically, the law that requires that your voter registration be filled out correctly, that you have your correct name, date of birth, social security number, home address, etc.
You fucking racist. You think this is a good idea?
The law was racist because, I shit you not, this is a matter of public record. You can go read the filing. The law is racist because it requires people to fill out a voter registration form accurately, and Afrocentric names are harder to spell.
God, I wish we could
actually made the argument that She actually made the argument in court, in official filings, that black people are too dumb to write their own names. That's who Stacey Abrams is. That's who wants to eat your babies.
She want a baby back, baby back, baby back.
Chilies. Ribs.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. Oh, I wish I had the fat bastard clip pulled up right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Danny, yes, the soft bigotry of low expectations. That's absolutely correct. And I actually think, I mean, not only is this why she's going to lose Georgia, but did you notice the way the guy, the loser at MSNBC, he even tried to tee up the question in such a way as to allow her to get into the gray area and give her the wiggle room she was going to need.
Boy.
And she still botched it. Well, I know your milk's expensive, but fucking abortions,
We
right?
need to kill babies. Why are we killing more babies?
So-
But no, like he would have stepped further. Like he all but said, okay,
Don't talk about abortions.
Governor Abrams,
Don't talk about abortions.
I need you to understand that nobody cares about abortions right now because they can't afford gas. It's the economy, stupid. You need to talk about the economy.
Look, milk is expensive.
Gas is expensive.
Abortions.
And nope. She ran right into it.
I mean, Governor Abrams, there's a rake on the ground wherever. That's the one place I don't want you to step. Okay, never mind. Never mind. We just. They're so out of touch. Okay, and you know what? And forget that. Actually, there's something else I've been wanting to bring up in particular. Okay, you know she doesn't have kids.
Obviously.
Well, no, not necessarily. Obviously. Okay.
You're right. In fairness, you have people like Amy Schumer who wish they had aborted their children.
No, that's not even
Vocally,
no
publicly,
Have you ever?
while the children are present to hear her say it.
Look, this is one of those things that's going to be obvious when you hear him say it, when you hear me say it, but it might be something that you've never really absolutely considered. And by you, I don't necessarily mean you.
I understand.
Okay, right.
One may not have considered
Exactly.
the following.
Have you ever noticed how important pro-choice is for single women,
Yes, especially
childless
single
women?
especially single women who have made the mistake of prioritizing their career over their health and happiness.
Well, and by contrast, how many women pro-life also have children? And like, it's just weird. Oh, you know what, Governor Abrams? Excuse me, President of the Earth. Just watch Star Trek. Right? Excuse me, President of the Earth Abrams. I get it, okay? Like, honestly, good job. You have accomplished more in your professional career than 99% of us ever will. Good for you. But it's kind of creepy that you insist that everybody else follow your path. Do you know that how creepy it would be if everybody in her inner circle was like, well, gosh, Stacy, what's your problem? Have a baby. Right? That would actually be, look, don't.
Well,
I'm trying to get through the point without
okay.
making any jokes. Okay. I know it takes somebody to be way deep in that circle. But
Come on, Stacy, just pop one out. You've clearly got several hiding in there.
okay. But it would actually be offensive, and rightly so, if she says, look, I've made the choice not to have children. My husband and I have talked about it. We don't want to have children. We would rather have a certain lifestyle that having a child would not be conducive to. And it would be offensive for everybody around her to pressure her to have children. And I think that's fair enough. So
Yeah, if you
why is
want
it
to be
okay?
miserable, be miserable.
Well, why is it okay? Well, I wasn't even going to go there yet.
Oh, I'm about to.
Well, all right, I'll finish this up and allow you. So why is it okay for her to, even by implication, push the exact reverse message on us? Well, you should totally abort that baby unless you are 1,000% sure you're ready to have that kid. Because I mean, and that's a bizarre standard. This is something that people with children will know, especially the more kids you have, the more you know it's true. You ain't ready. I don't care if you got $1 million in the bank. You ain't ready.
Yeah, my father told me many, many years ago that if you wait until you're ready to have children, you will never be ready. And let me tell you, he was 100% right. Let me tell you something else about having kids. I love my wife. When I first met my wife, when we first started dating, we were at the language college together, and we had the Christmas Exodus, at which point we had only been dating for a few months. And I came home to spend some time with my family because we were both active duty military, and we took leave. And so I got to fly home to spend some time with my family. And Mom asked me if I was seeing anybody, if I'd met a girl yet, and of course, yes, I have. And she asked if it was serious, and I told Mom at the time, if I can convince her to have kids, then I'll marry her. And we've been married for 15 years. We have 4 kids. And I love my wife. I really do. Well, let me tell you something. If you haven't had a kid, if you haven't held your firstborn for the first time, you haven't done that yet. You have not actually experienced the baseline against which your understanding needs to understand what it is to love.
The agape.
You have not felt love.
Yet the all-consuming agape. Yeah. This is not your phileos, right?
Right.
This
But before we had the first kid, I was perfectly happy to risk my life in defense of my shiny new wife, my hot young wife. Absolutely. Once we had that kid, like this is one of those things like entering adulthood, going through puberty, losing your virginity, going to space, right? It's something I haven't experienced. Going to war, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of those lines. If you haven't crossed that threshold yet, the meaning of being on the other side of that line cannot be expressed to you. It is a metaphysical barrier which the experience of crossing which cannot be transmitted across that barrier. The barrier between being a parent and not a parent, that is an experience that cannot be transmitted back across the barrier to someone who hasn't crossed it yet. That option is not available. This is one of the things that makes these people who they are. They don't have love. They're hateful people.
Well, and they're completely ignorant to the degree of their lack of love. You may as well try and explain to the worm why the bird's pulling it out of the ground and eating it.
Yeah.
I mean, like there is that big of a difference in those things. And I thought she was single, and there was a little back and forth in chat about it, so I Googled it. She is, in fact, unmarried. And, of course, well, that should not be a determining factor. I would say that I want for the person who represents me to have certain life commonalities with me. I'm willing to accept a lot of variance.
Yeah.
Okay, I really am. I mean, a lot of variance. Black Spring. We're glad you caught with us. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Honestly, Black Spring, I kind of hate that you showed up as late as you did. We were funny a few minutes ago. You've wandered into the dark part of the show.
Okay.
Bah!
I'm willing to accept a lot of variance. But there are certain things that someone who has had children, who has been married, who has lived, at least to some extent, I'll call it the average Western liberal middle class lifestyle. How about let's go with that? I feel as though, and I am using the word feel, but that's important here. I feel as though I can count on them to accept certain things, just kind of as a baseline. Like, for example, if you have children and your child is sick and you go to your boss and you say, I have to leave, I've got to go check my kid out from school. If your boss has children, your boss completely understands.
Yeah.
Entirely. Okay?
Yep.
By that same token, an unmarried woman that's convinced that race and abortion are more important than the price of food and gas and rent, being the executive of the state, who's going to look you straight in your face and gaslight you and say, hey, remember that thing that, around 6 to 8 weeks, all of you went through that have children, where they said, hey, you want to hear your baby's heartbeat for the first time? Party on the yacht. I want to hear my baby's heartbeat for the first time. Yeah, that wasn't really a heartbeat, but trust me, I'm so much smarter than you. I played President of Earth on Star Trek. The left loves me. I've been on the Daily Show like half a dozen times. So yeah, is it fair to be like, yeah, but you've never been married and you've never had kids and you've basically been a career politician your entire professional life? I mean, scroll it back over one more time.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously. Look at this face. She is offended. She has to do this tap dance again. She is frustrated by the fact that she's got to... This is contempt for the people she wants to govern. It's written right there on her face. If these stupid people would live in the pod, eat the bugs, and have no more than 2.5 kids, they wouldn't be so fucking broke, these rubes. That's what her face says.
In fact, let me just help you out with that a little bit.
Oh, are we going straight lie to me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's right, that face. I know, GCM. Yes. Good morning, Krista. Yeah, we don't need that many farms because we have grocery stores.
Lip corner tightened and raised only on one side of the face. Boom, boom. Right? You see the way the eyebrows set down. There you go. That is textbook contempt with just a little bit of disgust right there.
To be fair, though, that could be the beginnings of a diabetic stroke.
Yeah, but that's not a description of the function. That's just a statistical probability.
And every Golden Corral owner in the state of Georgia went, phew. I like the way Pit Daddy puts it. That look when everybody else is an idiot.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's what she believes. That's
Ask John Fetterman. My name is Stacey Abrams.
I'm surprised she didn't make it on the She-Hulk.
Well, I mean, You saw the special effects budget for that show. They'd had to rent a crane to get her on and off the set.
It wasn't in the budget. That's fair. I'm sure she could have walked on set. They just probably have to cut off one wall and use the crane to get her out of the house.
No, they give her one of those carts that's at the front of Walmart that goes beep when you back it up.
He says she can't twerk.
Oh, long story short, Stacey Abrams going to lose. In fact, at this point, I think saying she's going to lose is, I mean, go ahead. The question is,
and I'll make you this promise. This is my campaign promise. If we do get video of Stacey Abrams twerking, I will absolutely cut it with a disaster movie about earthquakes.
Godzilla. Oh my God. No, seriously, the question is going to be by how much? Because at this point, minimum 5 points. In fact, I think the disparity between her and Brian Kemp is going to be so large because of shit like this. Okay? The disparity between her and Brian Kemp is going to be so large. If there's any weakness anywhere else in the ticket, the coattails are going to be big enough.
Now, real quick, George Kelichek, the Taxpayer Association, says, "Be kind."
I'm not going to be kind to anybody that tells me I didn't hear my baby's heartbeat.
Exactly. We covered this. We covered this yesterday. We talked about it in some detail. That's one of the problems with modern politics is
we're nice, and they're not.
When we run a choir boy, they will fabricate sexual perversion allegations, criminality. The fact of the matter is, we tried hard to be kind, and they will not tolerate it. So the time has passed. Now it is time to ridicule. Now it is time. So I'm gonna close on this.
Let me just say quickly. By the way, Krista, the 2020 election was fine. There's nothing wrong with our voting machines.
Exactly. That's right.
Anyhow, please close.
Okay, so. Damn, what was I going to say? Okay, I want to remind you again, early voting is going on. Go vote early. As we've said many times on the show.
We hates it.
We hates it precious, but it is what it is. If we have to fight the war, if they're going to fight the war dirty, then we have to meet them on their turf. If I had my way, there would be no early voting, and I could go into more detail on that in another show. Mm-hmm. But the earlier you go vote early, the sooner you stop consuming resources that your candidate is expending to get you to go vote early. They have access to the voter rolls. Once you've voted, they stop bothering you because it costs money to bother you. Go vote early. It means that your candidate will have more resources to get out the vote and increase their chances to win, right? So that's a big and important piece of the puzzle.
Real quick, C.S. Brooks says, call them what they are, soldiers of demonic forces. They hate you and want you dead and want your children to suffer, and they delight in it. Chris and I were talking about this before the show. I do think there's a third option where they're okay with us being slaves as long as we know our place. If we'll be good little automatons, they'll be fine with that too. But your base point is correct.
And I think I had another thing that I wanted to cover, but
it's 8.
I may have lost what it was.
And it's 8, and we have things to do.
Yeah, shit, places to be. Y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow's Firearms Friday, and there's something. We'll do some DGUs.
A little creepy.
But I've got something. Yeah, I've got something scary that I want to cover with you guys, and it's. Oh God, yeah, scary shit. So, be here tomorrow. Firearms Friday. We love you, and we'll see you in the morning. And Mom, I'm going to be over there in about 10 minutes with a bunch of kids. So, gird thyself.